Good evening from Tokyo. My name is Noriyuki Shikata, Cabinet Secretary for Public Affairs at the Prime Minister's Office of Japan. And thank you for joining Asia Undercurrent 18th session on March the 6th. And we wish to welcome your participation in this webinar. At the outset, let me explain to the audience the Q&A function. If you're viewing live from the Nikkei channel or YouTube live, please note that we welcome your questions. You can submit them by scrolling down to the submission link below. We encourage you to include your affiliation or title when submitting. Let me just explain the background behind this webinar. Under the Kishida administration during the last 2.5 years, Japan's economy has shifted dramatically, as we see in the record level of Nikkei average this week. The country must continue to promote various efforts to keep its world-class industry moving forward. Prime Minister Kishida's new form of capitalism is helping to tackle these challenges through investments in people. Today, we will discuss the concrete examples of transformation in the Japanese higher education, digitalization of the society, as well as professional preparation for more future career women actively joining the workforce in Japan. From this perspective, we are honored to have distinguished experts in respective fields today, and I look forward to engaging in active discussion from now on. Thank you very much. So let me ask the three panelists to give short statements as I wish to ask you some questions according to the individual panelists. But let me just ask the short statements from the panelists, starting from Mr. Yang-Sun Bang. He's the president and representative director of Thomson Reuters, Japan. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Shikata-san. So hello, my name is Yang Bang, and I'm the president and representative director of Thomson Reuters in Japan. I'm privileged to join this panel today to share some insights on what we're seeing in the market and hearing from our clients, and a bit about Thomson Reuters' build, partner, and buy strategy. As many of you may already know, Thomson Reuters provides content-enabled technology solutions for corporates, legal professionals, tax professionals, and trade compliance professionals globally. We recently made several investments in AI, which I'll talk about later, and we're very excited about that. Our vision at Thomson Reuters is to first and foremost support our clients and inform them of the way forward with technology. We aim to help our clients navigate the complexities of professions, from legal to tax compliance and global trade compliance. We have a global footprint and serve the top 100 global law firms, accounting firms, and the largest multinational corporations around the world. We have operated for more than 100 years, and clients know that they can trust our brand and our products. In Japan, we are very unique in that we provide our global solutions to help clients in Japan, but also across their operations globally. One example is our global trade solution, which helps corporations manage their global trade requirements across the world. In the past, Japanese companies tend to be decentralized. However, more and more recognize they need to centralize processes with growing global regulations such as BEPS, trade, and ESG. To continue on that example, our export control solution has unified global trade compliance across over 20 subsidiaries for leading manufacturers in semiconductor, electronics, and heavy engineering, and standardizing processes and managing diverse ERP systems to ensure consistent export controls and risk mitigation. Also, implementation of our automated denied party screening and export license management has led to operational efficiencies with track record of 0 export penalties since its adoption, demonstrating compliance effectiveness. Another is that our FTA solution, which rationalizes complex outsourced processing cost calculations through logical automation, enhancing efficiency and resource management for increasing FTA demands. And for a specific Japanese multinational manufacturer of our client, achieved $45.5 million in annual FTA savings and secured a competitive edge in the UK and EU markets by maximizing the benefits from relevant FTAs. We also recognize that Japanese clients have unique requirements and are going deeper into the domestic market with our domestic legal research service, which is Westlaw Japan, as well as localizing our solutions for the market and working with partners to expand our services. We are extremely excited about ongoing and growing in Japan, particularly during these changing times. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, President Ban. And I wish to ask Dean Matt Wilson of Temple University in Japan. And I understand that he is in the United States at the airport now. Thank you very much for joining us from the United States.
Thank you, Shikata-san, and it's a pleasure to be here. So today, we talk about people, technology, and prosperity, and Japan's growth opportunities under the new forum. And so I want to spend just a few minutes talking about people and prosperity. Japan is one of the world's most advanced economies, and it's an extremely attractive destination. Notwithstanding the closed borders during the global pandemic, Japan's natural attraction, combined with the successful hosting of international events such as the Olympics, the G7, the weak yen, affordable cost of living, geopolitical tensions in the arena, created a perfect storm to drive people to Japan. Yet the country currently faces supply and demand challenges with respect to workers and available talent. At present, there are pressures on the number of people, which gives rise to concerns about the future prosperity. Naturally, this leads to movements to draw technology into the conversation to potentially fill the gaps to ensure a sustainable society within a livable lifestyle. It's interesting when my ramen is now delivered to me by a robot as opposed to an actual human. Japan continues to face demographic challenges with an aging population and declining birth rates. After peaking in 2008, Japan's population has since shrunk steadily due to declining birth rate. In fact, the country saw a record low of about 771,000 births in 2022. Much of the same is expected going forward. This has led to shrinking workforce and increased pressure on social welfare systems. A group of think tanks in 2022, led by the research arm of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, concluded that to sustain average economic growth of 1.24% per year, Japan needs to bolster its foreign worker population to about 6.74 million by the year 2040. Recognizing this reality, Prime Minister Kishida recently remarked that the government seeks to create an inclusive society, and we want to make Japan a country that foreign workers will choose. So what does a country that foreign workers will choose actually look like? Well, in this regard, the country is at a crossroads. In fact, in current times, Japan faces a host of both challenges and opportunities. On one hand, the new form of capitalism has resulted in Japan unveiling new visa forms, altering its foreign training program, and taking other active measures to invite new talent. Just this week, it was announced that Japan plans to more than double the number of foreigners eligible for a skilled worker visa in the 5-year period starting in fiscal 2024 to over 800,000, as the government seeks to alleviate shortages in industries like manufacturing, construction, and agriculture. To many, though, that's not enough. The government, industry, educational institutions, and society will need to do more to help Japan sustain itself and to foster growth. So, where do I come in? Well, in leading a foreign institution that employs hundreds of foreigners in Japan, and a university based in the United States that helps attract thousands of university students to our Japan campus, I see the challenges and the opportunities firsthand through the eyes of my employees, and even more so through the eyes of my students. As a world-class public American university, ranked in the top 10 of all universities operating campuses in Japan, and the top 50 of public US universities, Temple University's goal here in Japan is to attract top talent from overseas and to help retain top Japanese talent through our campuses in Japan. Personally, that's what drives me. My Hokkaido experience as a 19-year-old and my subsequent endeavors in the country were truly transformative. As a result, this personally motivates me to invite others to come to Japan, and through the university ensure that students can gain the tools to imagine, explore, and succeed in an ever-changing global workplace. And just as significantly, to provide a truly international education in a multicultural and inclusive environment that at Temple University's Japan campus, as we call TUJ, is truly international. It's about 1/3 Japanese, 1/3 US, and 1/3 from 70 other countries around the world, including we have taken in 9 students from Ukraine to help them ensure that they get their university degree. We embrace the values, the rigor, and the community spirit of our main campus. It's based in Philadelphia. So what I see in terms of people and prosperity is we focus on declining population and attracting top talent to Japan through education and employment is we have language barriers. There's a need for English both domestically and globally. By all accounts, Japan would be well served by increasing proficiency. Life barriers. Still stunned by the number of our students that come in and employees as well, who go and they look for housing only to be turned away because they're foreigners. Immigration and visas. I have university students that want to stay in Japan, but they encounter barriers in the form of immigration, low salaries that aren't globally competitive, family matter concerns, healthcare, daycare, high taxes, work culture. For folks that are looking here in Japan to bring families or to stay, international education in English, particularly in the kindergarten through 12 range, is very expensive. What does Japan do? And when we think about current education, English education, it truly falls short. In fact, a recent survey by EF Education First involving 2.1 million people placed Japan 80th out of 111 countries in terms of English proficiency. Last year, there was a test that was administered to 1.9 million middle school students at 28,000 public and private schools nationwide. Only 12.4% of the questions on the speaking section were answered correctly. The response, the test was too tough. Going forward, we need to be talking about incentives and other measures. My role as being head of an institution that provides higher education is to collaborate with governments, with Japanese universities, serve both degree and non-degree students to attract global talent here. Collectively, as government, as industry, we need to be talking about education, more affordable English immersion programs at the K through 12 level. Technology, what do we do with artificial intelligence and other things to bridge the gap? From a government standpoint, tax incentives to lure people coming on into Japan, extended stays for university students, incentives for employers as we look to attract foreign talent. From a private sector, thinking about schools, banking, communication, changing attitudes and approaches to employment, prioritization of diversity, and then creating meaningful roles for foreign talent as it comes on in. I'm looking forward to our discussion today, and I appreciate the time and opportunity to share my thoughts.
Well, thank you very much, Dean Wilson. And some of the issues you mentioned at the outset in terms of English education in Japan, or technology-related education, or how you introduce American-style education in this Japanese market. Those are the issues that I'll be asking you in due course. So now let me move on to Professor Akiko Imai. She's a professor at the Business Design Department, Faculty of Global Business at the Showa Women's University in Tokyo. And she has been doing research on issues like women's policies in Japan, women's leadership, sustainability, and global business. So, Professor Imai, please.
Thank you very much for having me. Among several pillar policies under the new form of capitalism, I would like to focus on investing in people, especially about the women's issue. Recently, some Japanese women's universities announced they would shut down their education. And some people even ask the question of whether women's colleges have completed their mission. My answer is, of course, no. Rather, the need to foster women who can thrive in the changing international society is more significant than ever. The most recent gender gap index showed Japan was ranked 125th out of 146 countries, very miserable number as always. The disparities are especially apparent in business and politics. At the same time, as Dr. Wilson pointed out, aging Japan doesn't have enough labor force. It is a very urgent issue to raise the number of the sophisticated labor force in Japan. Otherwise, Japan's overall competitiveness in the world will be undermined. How can men and women work together to grow Japan and the world in the face of these challenges? In this sense, women's universities still have many responsibilities and roles. Let me talk about my university's initiatives. In the early 21st century, Showa Women's University started its transformation by focusing on career development, business studies, and global learning. Career development education may sound cliche, but when it comes to women's empowerment, it means a lot. For a long time during the rapid growth era, people have thought that classy women didn't get involved in practical business. Under such a mindset, women tended to choose supportive jobs in big Japanese corporations and quit the job after finding a hard-working husband. But the time has changed. It is essential to encourage women to secure financial autonomy and self-determination by having a full-fledged job. At Showa, we set the career design policy and a curriculum in 2012. We started mandatory courses for all freshman year students to learn the current situation surrounding women and to foster the commitment to designing their own lives. And to give students a concrete image of businesswomen, we started the Career Mentor Program and invited many career businesswomen to become mentors. The reaction among them was solid. Most mentors are alumni of universities other than Showa. That proves how many working women are passionate about fostering next generation. The second initiative was the creation of a business department for the first time at the Women's University in Tokyo area. We intentionally designed our curriculum to foster leadership and collaborative work skills. Currently, most students seek job positions that are connected to managerial positions in the future. Thirdly, we enhanced globalized education. Showa has a very long track record in this area by opening a campus in Boston back in 1989. Showa Boston is not merely a language school. It teaches business content and liberal arts. Undergrad students from 3 departments have lived and studied intensively in Boston for 5 months or longer. It now has a function of a gateway to study abroad programs at other universities around the world. We also developed a double degree program with 5 foreign universities, including Temple University, Japan, Shanghai Jiaotong University, Sumyeon Women's University, and Seoul Women's University in Korea. At Showa and Temple University, Japan are located next to each other. The interaction between the 2 institutions is expanding. Now we have a joint courses or the student level exchanges. One of the recent examples was the exhibition of the Tale of Genji at the Showa Women's University's museum. Students of the literature and history majors of our university worked together with TUJ students to make an audience guide about the classical Japanese literature in Japanese and English. From 2070s, we have developed some other joint programs with University of Colorado Boulder or Business Academy of Aarhus, Denmark, and KMUTT in Thailand, respectively. To go beyond the mere mutual understanding programs, the theme of the learning have been contemporary socio-economic issues such as global warming, supply chain management, and geopolitics and business. These topics are, of course, very challenging ones for the undergrads, but with the cooperation of the government officials and business experts as guest lecturers, students could expand their knowledge about cross-border issues. Finally, we have started a program for foreign female students from Vietnam, Malaysia, and other East Asian countries. These students will learn intensive Japanese language and take regular academic courses. They are expected to get a job in the Japanese business community after graduation. So I will stop here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for respective speakers. So now let me move on to question and answer, especially in terms of my posing questions to the panelists. So first to Professor Imai. As you mentioned, Showa Women's University has been transforming its academic program and has recently established the Faculty of Global Business, Department of Accounting and Finance, and Faculty of International Studies, transforming itself from a traditional women's universities into an educational institution that aims to nurture highly specialized and advanced human resources development. In addition, the Showa University has been promoting career education from the first year, and its actual employment rate is reported to be 97%. So what is the background regarding these transformational changes, and how have you been successfully achieving these results?
Well, thank you very much. The most urgent issue was the change of the society. For a longer time, women's university didn't have a practical studies like economics or management or international studies or other political studies. And that was okay for 30 or 40 years ago because they are not expected to be in the mainstream of the society. But these days, it's an era of the equal opportunity. And anyone, regardless of gender or race or the background, there is a chance for everyone to go forward. To cope with these needs, the Women's University has to open the way and educate girls to go forward, to get into the real society. So to do so, the Showa Women's University, well before I came here, the top management decided to create a business and accounting department. And by doing so, most of the women can have a path to get into the mainstream of the business and political society. That is the idea. But the only idea is not enough. So it was the tough part was how to implement this kind of initiative. So one of the big step was to create a totally different new department only for focusing on career education by the teachers and the administrative staff. And so these kind of support made a kind of great progress within 10 years. So that's why I think that these days, the mindset of the students are drastically changing, and they are very fully committed to their own lifestyle from the very beginning of the entering the university.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Imai. Now, let me ask Dean Wilson about TUJ. Temple University Japan has been operating in Japan since the 1980s and has continued to provide a US-style university education in Japan during the last 4 decades. I realize that you have overcome many challenges during this time. So could you tell us how TUJ successfully managed this process in Japan throughout these years?
Sure, absolutely. So as you noted, 42 years ago, Temple University, a global top 350 public university, decided to come to Japan. And the idea is to provide an American style, liberal arts based, education in English. In addition, graduate programs to help educate Japanese professors and instructors of how to teach English to second language learners. Interestingly, the welcome to Temple University was not very great. In fact, the history of Temple in Japan is a story that's replete with scoundrels and visionaries, growth and decline, hardship and prosperity, and even outright opposition. When Temple came into Japan, it actually received a letter from the government saying, please do not use the word daigaku. Don't use your university because you are not a Japanese university. Fortunately, undeterred, Temple University decided that it was going to be here in Japan for the long haul, a long-term commitment to Japan, to Japanese society, to quality education and the like. For the first 2 decades of Temple's existence, actually about 25 years, Temple was not recognized by the Japanese government. Fortunately, in 2005, the education law was reformed and revised to include a new designation, Foreign University, Japan campus, that enabled us to attract students from overseas. Previous to that time, because we weren't deemed to be a university, we only could sponsor cultural activities visas that were good for 6 months. So in 1997, when I studied at Temple University, Japan, as a budding international lawyer, I was on a cultural activities visa. When I went to the train station to get a discount commuter pass for a student, they said, you're not a student. You don't belong to a Japanese university. So despite providing an invaluable service, being part of a nonprofit public university that's working tirelessly to benefit local society in Japan, we've had a lot of opposition. In fact, even today, we have a very hefty tax bill as a result of the fact that we're not a Japanese institution or a Japanese university as well. But to your question of how has Temple succeeded here in Japan, I think part of it is by providing a truly international experience. Our students can study in English, taking a whole host of majors at the undergraduate level. We have graduate programs and we have non-degree programs as well. Our undergraduate students can study in Tokyo. They have the opportunity to go to our main campus in Philadelphia. We even have a campus in Rome. So if a student wanted a truly immersive international experience, they're based in Tokyo, they study abroad in Philadelphia, and they actually go to Rome. But I truly think that perseverance and adaptability have been the keys for Temple University. We have had to adapt to the local markets. We have had to kind of play the game. We've had to be patient. We've had to change up our programs to be able to attract students. But even more significantly, it's all about people. It's not about profit. Temple is committed to globalization, international education, and student success. There were a whole host of American universities that came into Japan in the 1980s and the 1990s, and it was all about profit. Temple, trust me, it has not been about that at all. In fact, Temple really has the perfect mix, a world-class quality education, highly ranked. We have speakers and professors that come in from around the world. Our students that are at Temple receive a foreign degree. They receive their degree from Temple University. They can tap into resources in the United States. One of the things that I talk to students about is, if you're a night owl, you like to study in the middle of the night, you have a question, fortunately, it's 14 hours difference in Philadelphia. So you can text, you can chat, you can go online and receive tutoring, guidance from our librarians. So it's truly a 24/7 global university where we focus on applied learning, affordability, and we offer a whole host of multiple programs. So it truly has been, a journey that couldn't have been done without supporters in Japan, within the Japanese government, Japanese society, and Japanese industry. And we thank all of the people that have supported us in the past, and hopefully those that will support us going forward.
Well, thank you very much, Dean Wilson. maybe I will ask President Ban regarding kind of business perspective. And my question is, what is Thomson Reuters' position in Japan in terms of the company's Indo-Pacific regional profile? And how has your company so rapidly expanded your business in Japan?
So thank you for the question, Shikata-san. I guess, simply put, our solutions and technology transform the way our clients work. In 2019, our Japan local business operations became part of the Thomson Reuters Asia and emerging markets business. We identified a tremendous opportunity to become a trusted advisor for the legal, tax, and corporate sectors in Asia. And since that time, we have put a lot of and strategic focus on growing our presence in Japan. We feel that Japan is a very highly strategic focus market for Thomson Reuters due to the large size of the market, of course, and digitization initiatives, and also recently the growth of AI, which is an area we are heavily investing in. In 2023, we acquired the leading domestic online legal information provider, Westlaw Japan Business, and we aim to lead by providing professionals with AI-enabled technology solutions. We're also actively partnering with key players such as the Big Four and other technology companies to expand our services. And we are unique because we serve Japanese clients domestically, but also across their global operations, and very few players can compare with our global content, with trustworthy content. And thinking about our history in Japan, Shikata-san, we can proudly say that we established our first Reuters news branch in Japan in 1872, and 2022 marked our 150-year anniversary. So I'll keep it there for now. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Now Thomson Reuters is not only a news business, but you have been successfully expanding various business solutions in the Japanese market.
Exactly. As a true content-enabled technology solutions provider for corporations, legal professionals, and tax and trade professionals globally. That's what we're doing right now.
Great. So let me now turn back to Professor Imai regarding Showa Women's University's engagements with overseas educational institutions. So I understand that Showa Women's University has been strengthening its ties with overseas universities, including the opening of Boston campus and other partnerships with overseas education institutions. So the school is also focusing on international education for its students. So what are some of the examples of actual exchange program, and what have been the results as you see it, and including possibly with your collaboration with TUJ?
Thank you very much. Unlike Temple University, Japan, inside of the campus, we naturally only have women, mostly Japanese women. In such circumstances, it is really hard to expose the students to the diversified society. In that sense, our collaboration with the TUJ is really precious thing. There are many, education level and friendship level exchanges. Let me just give one example. The other day happened around me. Currently, I have two Tanzanian high school students in my campus, and they are now enjoying a very rapid cross-cultural experience. And some of the Showa students helped them to adjust to the Japanese culture. And in the building that the TUJ is now located, there happened to be some American student from TUJ, and they looked at the actual activities of the Showa Women's University and the Tanzanian students, and then approached to my students. And quite naturally, they started the conversation. and they set the new round of the meeting to talk about the countries of United States, Japan, and then African countries and the future of the generation. These are not made by the teachers. It's really a voluntary initiative born by the peer reader students. And I think such initiative is a very powerful thing. And also, talking about the collaborative learning, I'm doing a collaborative study with the Colorado University students, and it's really interesting because we start only online basis in February, and in May, the students will visit to Japan. So before they actually meet in person, they have to jointly study something about the supply chain or human rights or global warming only through Zoom. And quite interestingly, every year, the American students feel a kind of embarrassment because the Japanese students are so shy on the internet. And the Japanese students also feel a kind of very overwhelmed by the very active conversations among American students. But within 4 months, they will gradually understand how to communicate to each other without any instructions. Quite naturally, they learn how to adjust the speed or level of the understanding among them. And in every year, in May, we can enjoy a very good joint presentation about the business plan created by Japan and US students. So these kind of stimulating experience will not happen in a day. So in that sense, teachers are intentionally create communication and partnership with the foreign students, foreign universities. But after we made a framework, it is a task for the students to fully make use of these experiences. I hope that in the future, of course, we would like to continue a good relationship with the Temple University of Japan, and then I think we will have something that to cooperate with in terms of the women's empowerment and other specialties as a women's university. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Imai. And I could see how you have been trying to introduce international education on campus and providing us with concrete examples of such intercultural experiences on campus. So now to Dean Wilson, TUJ has been growing by offering, for example, doctoral programs in education and law, as well as continuing education programs for the residents nearby, or maybe distance education. And now you are opening a new campus in Kyoto. So what in particular has been the keys of TUJ's such a successful development of your programs? And please tell us what is your vision for TUJ's future in your educational program.
Yes, thank you. And just by way of background, for those that are listening, at this point in time, we have at Temple University Japan campus about 2,240 undergraduate students who can pursue and complete their degree entirely in Japan. In addition, as Shikata-san mentioned, we have graduate programs, master's and doctoral in education law. We have a master's in management. We're looking to add some more programs as well. And then the continuing education, interestingly, we educate over 2,000 non-degree seeking learners. Those include elementary, middle school, high school students. In fact, well over 1,000 kids will come to our campus. We have also adult program, corporate education, and really the idea is to be full service, being able to contribute and to give back to the community. And I think that's one of those things that has really helped with our success. Interestingly, even during the pandemic and then after the border has opened, we have seen an increase in our undergraduates student body that has been significant. In fact, over the last 3 years, we have seen an increase in about 75%. That is incredible. And as you alluded to, last month, we announced that in January 2025, we will be opening a second campus in Kyoto that will be about a 12-minute walk away from the Fushimi Inari Shrine. We're very excited about that. The excitement that we have seen as we expand beyond Tokyo has really been unparalleled. I know the Kyoto government, Kansai, has been very excited about that as well. And if we think about why, I think part of it is we're providing a liberal arts education in English from a top university. The idea is global immersion. We're all about hands-on learning. Taking liberal art, combining it with hands-on learning in a manner that is responsive to the global workplace is really important. We have an internship program that just won a national award from MyNavi. Instead of just going to a company and visiting, this is really an immersive program where we have students that will actually go into companies and work on a part-time basis. They receive not only a great experience. Not only do they help the employer, but they also receive credit as well. So if anybody out there is looking for top global talent, come and find me, and I can place some great students with you as well. Cooperation from our main campus. The quality standards, the degree are bar none, not only parallel, but exceptional. When I think about success, I think about collaboration. We have collaborations with universities. As you have heard, our collaboration with Showa Women's University is truly amazing. We have a dual degree program with Showa where students will spend 2 years at Showa. They spend 2 years at Temple University. They end up getting a bachelor's degree from both universities. We're also working with Showa on combining our master's in management with an undergraduate degree at Showa to provide that type of an opportunity. And I'm having similar conversations with universities that are there as well. So this idea of dual degrees being creative and innovative, those are truly key. We have about over 20 Japanese universities that are now sending us students to help with English language education and providing an international environment. Relationships with governments and collaborations. In December of 2022, we signed a collaboration agreement with Yamanashi Prefecture. The idea there was to not only help with the education of children that are looking to go into university, but also to help out with workforce development, to take our students and hopefully drive them to Yamanashi Prefecture outside of Tokyo so that we can help booster the employment numbers that are out there as well. This week, I will be signing another collaboration agreement with a prefecture yet to be named in Kyushu. I also, at the end of the month, will be signing another collaboration agreement with a prefecture in Shikoku. We're very excited about our ability to impact what is going on in these prefectures. And part of that will be finding ways to drive our students to those areas. Will be collaborations among the prefectures and our professors and our students as well, bringing students onto our campuses in Kyoto and in Tokyo to provide them with an international experience. And then also, from an employer standpoint, working with employers, whether it's internships, whether it's placement, doing things non-traditionally. If you think about the way that Japanese companies traditionally hire, it's restrictive, particularly when we're thinking about folks from overseas and trying to work with them to be more flexible and understanding the benefits of global employees. And when I think about vision, we have committed to expanding into Kansai with our new Kyoto campus. And so as we walk and we go forward, we're excited to make that jump. We want to be accessible, we want to be affordable, and we want to be practical. And as we do that, distinctive as well. And so we're looking to meet the market needs. We have a new leadership academy, and we have an opportunity for our students to go to our main campus in Philadelphia and study at Japan rates as opposed to US rates, which really drives down the cost of higher education. And as we look at meeting market needs, we just brought in a tourism and hospitality management degree, which is focused on business. Temple is ranked, I think, number 9 in the world in terms of tourism and hospitality management. We're excited about that. We've expanded our computer science programs, and we're looking forward to doing that even more. And we'll be bringing in graduate degrees that are focusing on leadership, crisis management, and the like. So as we go forward, and it's an exciting time as we branch out beyond Tokyo, we continue to grow in Tokyo and expand opportunities for folks that want a global education.
Well, thank you very much, Dean Wilson, for your comprehensive explanation about your vision for TUJ. And as somebody who was born and grew up in Kyoto, I'm personally delighted to see your expansion in Kyoto, but you have been talking about possible expansions into different regions in Japan, which meet the expectation of actually Prime Minister Kishida's policy of promoting digital garden city initiative, local revitalization, and local universities would be the key for revitalizing our regional economies. And I'm sure that President Ban, listening to the presentation of both Professor Imai and Dean Wilson, would be probably hiring some of your graduates, or maybe at the outset as interns. So President Ban, let me ask your vision for Thomson Reuters future development in Japan. And please tell us about your firm's contributions to Japan's ongoing digital transformation. I ask this, because this is something we attach so much importance to in terms of what we call DX, digital transformation of the Japanese society. And this is something that we need collaboration between the public sector and private sector.
Yes, thank you for the question. My vision for Thomson Reuters future development in Japan is to help clients transform digitally to improve their efficiency and competitiveness. In Japan, the rise of AI and digital transformation, DX, as you mentioned, in my perspective, will only get stronger. Allow me to share insights on the role that AI will have for companies looking to grow sustainably in Asia. AI is challenging how traditional legal and tax work is done, for example. It is prompting all professional leaders to reinvent their workforces with greater efficiency, accuracy, and transparency. The companies that adopt a wait-and-see approach will not be leading, but probably following. Soon we will be launching the first Thomson Reuters Asian Emerging Markets edition of the Future of Professionals report, a report that surveys 1,000 professionals, a portion of whom are based in Japan. In the next 5 years, we've learned that 64% of professionals believe the prolific use of AI and large language models will be transformative or have high impact on their profession. There's also, going to be an explosion of data that companies will have to deal with beyond human capacity. And 56% of those surveyed believe that data volumes will be transformative. And these insights reflect that our clients are telling us that leaders at these executive level are already seeing how transformative this technology can be for their businesses. And the question is, will Japanese-based companies want to be leaders in their transition to an AI-enhanced digital future? From Thomson Reuters' perspective, we can probably say that our current solutions are already extremely relevant in driving both efficiency as well as enabling flexible growth of Japanese companies globally. And with the future with AI, we cannot stress enough on the importance of accurate content, which really allows us to play on our strengths as a company that historically have been proven to possess and produce most reliable and credible fact-based content, which our technology will learn from and be based on. I think I'll leave it there for now, Shikata-san.
Well, thank you very much. So now let me move on to the next round to Professor Imai. I think Showa Women's University is a great example of elevating women's role in the Japanese society. From your viewpoint, what should be done to further increase the number of women leading in various sectors in the Japanese society, especially in professional sense?
That's a very good question, and that's a very long-term topic that many of the researchers in this university is facing with. 2 or 3 years ago, other professors and me conducted a little research about the how to encourage the businesswoman in a management section. And we concluded, we found 3 important factors. One is environment for women to continue and to further their career. The second one is the experience. And the third one is confidence among women. As for the environment, especially the legal system, Japan has a lot of good laws for the, starting with the, of course, equal opportunity laws, but after that, child rearing law or elderly care law, blah, blah, blah. So technically, we have a lot of good environment. But why do we have such a wide gap between men and women? In that sense, there are many reasons. First of all, in a company, the human resources usage is a little bit tilted to the too much tilted to the fostering men. I mean, traditional way. I do not mean here the conflict between men and women, but the traditional human resource education inside of the company is too much focused on a long hour working person, like a 24 hours or something. And so sometimes the men will be assigned to the first generation of the opening of the foreign office in African continent, or a man will be easier to be assigned to a president of the subsidiary companies and so on. But there is a stark difference for the women's experience to have such a leadership experience inside of the company. So maybe in a human resource policy, not in a company, but also everywhere in the government as well, the chances should be given to all the people who have the same level of the skills and the knowledge. And the third one, and which this is really important thing, that's a confidence among women themselves. Most of the women are still under the spell of a gender biases or unconscious biases. So to overcome these kind of notion, to go behind the someone strong and someone in the front of the area, woman has to intentionally change themselves, adapt to the new reality. So such an adaptive leadership is a very long-term issue. But I think the women's university have a big role to change the mindset of the to overcome the unconscious bias through our education. So for the Japanese society to more enhance the women's power, I think we have to look into the traditional practices in every sphere and change it little by little. And that is, I believe, the starting the base notion of the so-called Abenomics starting in the back in 10 years ago. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Imai. Given limited time we have, we may just speed up our conversation a bit to receive some questions from the audience. So briefly, Dean Wilson, what is your kind of a strategic objective of opening a TUJ campus in Kyoto? And you mentioned that there may be possibility to open more campuses in Japanese other localities. Do you have a vision? When we see so much concentrated in Tokyo in terms of population and in industry in this country.
Right. So when we think about outside of Tokyo, I mean, one of the purposes is really to expand the energy outside of Tokyo. It follows the Japanese government's invitation, an example of attempting to diversify. If you look at Kyoto in general, recently the cultural agency was relocated from Tokyo to Kyoto. And, that was one of the considerations that we had was, okay, we're seeing a need. We're also seeing an opportunity, and we believe that it's responsive. As we look to attract talent to Japan, we also want them to experience things outside of Tokyo. Tokyo is incredible. It's a dynamic city. It's something that has attracted me to live here for a long period of time, but there's more beyond Tokyo. And what better place to start than Kyoto? And at the same time, as we talk about expanding beyond, we are one of the reasons why we're working with Japanese governments and getting ready to sign even more agreements with Japanese prefectures is we want to provide our students with internship opportunities, with jobs, with collaboration opportunities with folks that are in these areas, because there's a struggle when you get outside of the major metropolitan areas in terms of population loss. We talk about people, prosperity, and technology. Hopefully, as a higher education institution that's looking to serve society, we can play a critical role in globalizing those areas, generating excitement and energy, and providing new opportunities, and really kind of developing a pathway, not only for our students, but for students and individuals that are seeking things that are more international and global.
Well, thank you very much. Next to President Ban, from Thomson Reuters view, what kind of talent do you think Japan will need to remain competitive in the international market?
Yes, I think human resources will need to be augmented by AI capabilities and digital transformation. So that, there's no doubt about that. Japan needs to empower human talent with technology so that it can further its value proposition to international markets. The increased focus on investing in people will be beneficial for Japanese society at large. The big question we are asking ourselves is, what does the future of work look like for professionals in Japan? With an aging population, Japanese companies need to innovate to ensure they can both grow and sustain their workforce in terms of capacity requirements as well. Our survey findings from the report tells us that in the next 18 months, just under half believe, about 48%, that there will be new career paths for these professionals, and that basic AI training will be mandatory for all professionals. With much change underway comes more opportunity, and we are hearing a lot of optimism coming through from our clients and other professionals who took part in this survey. Many have high hopes for the future of AI. Nearly 1/3, I think 31%, hope it will liberate their time for higher level work or more value-added work. And here's the good news. We're also seeing investments in technology continue to rise. Allow me to share with you some of the high-level trends we're seeing in the Japanese market on DX here at Thomson Reuters. Here's how clients are increasing their spending on technologies across tax, global trade, and legal professional segments. So for example, corporate tax and financial professionals. We launched a DX report recently off the back of some research we did surveying about 300 key decision makers in tax and finance functions across Asia Pacific, including Japan. We asked them what was their tax digital roadmap for the future. Over 2/3 told us they plan to invest in purpose-built tax technology, and 40% also plan to move to cloud-based technology. So these are promising signs that companies recognize they need to upgrade their tech stacks. And for example, another example for legal and compliance professionals, cybersecurity, in data protection, improving operational efficiency, and staying across the latest law changes and regulations are the big trends we're seeing in the area of legal, risk, and compliance professionals. Of course, technology can be used to help legal counsel provide accurate guidance. And we're seeing the rise of ethical and trusted AI becoming an important part of the technology stack for our clients. I'll keep it there for now.
Well, thank you very much. So given the limitation of time, let me move on to the questions being asked from the audience. And I will designate one or two of the panelists to respond to the questions. And let me just ask President Ban in terms of responding to the following question. What are the new factors that make Japan one of the region's most compelling choices for investment and industrial cooperation? This is a question asked from Australia, who is engaged in food and pharmaceutical business. So probably you could answer from your own business perspectives regarding your new investment choice in Japan.
And if I may, we all know that Japan is G3 and third largest economy in the world. And in Japan, there are more than 4 million companies, if you can believe it, all around Japan, from enterprise to small to mid-sized companies. And these companies, I think the COVID has forced them to think digital, as companies very still paper-driven, culture in corporates, and also legacy systems and lack of human resources. And now, because of the size of the market and the power of the purchase power of these corporations in terms of their profitability, they're thinking to move from a lot of these functions within corporations are cost centers, and they want to become profit centers. And to do so, they have to show profitability, and they have to show they're adding value as a support function of a corporation. In that sense, they're really starting to see that they need to invest, and they need to invest in technology. And from a solutions provider like ourselves, we are seeing huge opportunity where Japanese corporations and various organizations that are supporting those corporations are in need of technology that need support. And we are doing that in the ground, local level, and we are seeing huge investments being needed to realize those fruits for investing, and also to transform into a digital, future from more of analog or paper state at this time for Japan. I'm not sure if that answers the entire question, but I think that's a good introduction to those answers.
Well, thank you very much, President Ban. Probably this question is I wish to ask Dean Wilson. How can Japan stay ahead of the AI race? Is there a collaborative and concerted effort combining the public and private sectors? And if so, what specifically is being done? Maybe I should answer the Japanese government part, but maybe from your perspective, if you could comment on how your advice and recommendation regarding what Japan should do to stay ahead of the AI race. Of course, the Kishida administration, Prime Minister Kishida himself, have been putting a lot of priority to AI developments and introduction of AI to the businesses and research and development. And of course, last year, PM Kishida was hosting Hiroshima G7 summit, which led to Hiroshima AI process. So Japan is actively engaged in international rulemakings. But maybe from academic and of course, since TUJ is actively engaged in computer science education and so forth, what's your view on this?
Well, I think with AI, and President Bang talked about it, it really is going to impact all of us and on a greater level. If we're talking about, all employees requiring some type of training with respect to AI, and then we talk about public and private, that really puts the onus on education providers, whether it's, K through 12, whether it's universities, to provide AI-related education to the students. I remember last year, in January 2023, a lot of people didn't know what ChatGPT was. AI was present, but really not omnipresent like it's becoming today. And I sat down with our professors and said, look, this is the new reality. And as we have this new reality, we can't run away from this. As educators, we need to be in the classroom, talking to our students, educating them, because it changes not only the way that we do business, but it changes our reality, right? And so a big part of it is teaching, or at least having programs in the schools about how to responsibly use AI, what the benefits of AI are, what the downsides of AI are. How do you go about doing that? And then there has to be kind of a transformation or a transition as you go into the marketplace to make it work. With AI, we're going to see new jobs. That's one of the benefits of a liberal arts education, is we're not teaching for a specific job per se. We're teaching more broadly, critical thinking skills, communication skills, those type of things that I think will help bridge the gap as we move forward into AI. But as a society, public and private, or the sectors of education and private industry and government as well, we need to be working together almost in a triangular sense to make sure that future generations are prepared, the current generation is responding, and that we're moving forward as well. And so I think this has been such a rush, exciting but frightening at the same time, that we need to be having discussions on the governmental level. We need to be having discussions at the private level, and also in the educational sector, about how do we meet the needs of today and tomorrow.
Well, thank you very much. Next question is probably directed to Professor Imai. What changes do you expect to see over the coming years in terms of both foreign students and foreign faculty at Japanese universities? What barriers are the most difficult to overcome in increasing foreign participation in Japanese universities? This is a question asked from the banking sector person in the United States. And probably Professor Imai, you could probably respond in the context of the challenges you may face at Showa University, or some of the examples that you are initiating at the university.
Well, that's a very good question. Probably President Wilson have a lot of opinion about that. So from a typical Japanese women's universities perspectives, to incorporate the international students as well as the faculties is not the easy thing, actually. Let me start with the international students. There are two ways for the Japanese universities, whether to provide English-only content for the degree, or to incorporate them into the Japanese-speaking content courses. And my university is now seeking, of course, both, but the major link to incorporate them to the Japanese style of the lectures. In that case, the most important thing is how to provide a quality Japanese language education center inside of the university. Now, we're now starting a big one from next year. So this is one thing. And for the faculty, it's also rather complex, because the totally different system of the US and foreign university and the Japanese universities. Sometimes it's really difficult thing for the foreign teachers to fit themselves into the Japanese system. So maybe the important thing is to give some Japanese universities for a kind of freedom how to manage the teachers, personnel, human resources inside of the university. Currently, because of the keeping the quality, there are many regulations in a way, official and unofficial things, and that would form a kind of barrier, unwritten barrier for the foreign teachers. That is a very sad thing. So maybe we have to overcome these kind of barriers with creating our own flexible systems for teachers, I think. I hope this is part of the answer.
Well, thank you very much. So we are approaching the end of this session, and maybe at the end of this discussion, I wish to ask you, each of the panelists, the last, final, words for this session before closing. So maybe President Ban.
Sure. I think I'm myself only here from a private sector, from a corporate perspective. I think we touched on some AI and technology aspects today, and I want to share one statement that we talk about a lot in our company, and that's being shared a lot in the market. That when we talk about AI, it's not really about human being versus computer. That's not the argument here. I think AI is a tool that we all need to train and to learn and learn how to use. And it's not really about AI, if AI will replace professionals or our job. It's really about, AI, people that are using AI will replace the people that are not using AI, right? So I think that's the way we should think when we talk about these in technology, and that we have to learn and we have to train ourselves, our people, our students, to be ready when they go out to the market and when they go out to society to contribute to the business and to the society as well. So I'll leave it there. Although there are a lot of things to say, but I think that's where I can finish off today. Thank you.
Thank you, President Ban. Dean Wilson?
Yes, as we spent some time today talking about the development of global talent, I know firsthand that there are a lot of obstacles as global in attracting global talent to Japan. Japan is a very attractive country. There's so much in terms of the future of Japan, but I do truly hope that we can have a discussion about how we can eliminate these obstacles. Professor Imai talked about regulations. That's one. There are other hurdles that are out there, whether it's immigration, whether it's taxation, whether it's services that are there as well. But, from my perspective, as head of a branch campus of a foreign university, we are truly looking to elevate Japan, language proficiency, helping Japan and folks be more competitive, to attract talent, to provide a globalized education. You think about the economic impact that education has, or that foreign workers have as you bring them on in. There is no substitute for bringing foreign talent in, and the economic impact that they have in terms of moving Japan forward, helping Japan grow. And so as we move forward into this next decade and this next century, as Japan shrinks in terms of population, we've got a lot of discussions to have. There's a lot of challenges, but there's a lot of opportunities, and look forward to hopefully playing an important role in it.
Well, thank you very much. Then Professor Imai.
Thank you very much. As Mr. Ban and Dean Wilson explained, I think now Japan, not only Japan, but the world has faced with a very exciting era at the same time. So things are changing very drastically. So now with the chance for not only for women, but everyone to get the new skill and capacity and to make a new frontier. So in that sense, investing in people should mean more than just catching up with the need of the times. Instead, investment should be more intrinsic to create a new frontier. if we successfully empower women that way, we can also promote many individuals, regardless of gender, race as well. So this is my last message. So it's not only about the women, it's all for human beings.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Imai. We had such a wide-ranging discussion centering on education, international business, new opportunities emerging in Japan. And I hear some homeworks on the side of the Japanese government to tackle, to overcome various challenges. And this needs to be done, through our international engagements. So I really appreciate the panelists' time and attention to this conversation, and also appreciate the audience to follow till the end of this session. So at the end of this session, let me just mention that we are always looking to improve this series. And if you scroll down, you can find a link to the post-webinar satisfaction survey. We would greatly appreciate it if you could kindly fill that out. So thank you so much, Dean Wilson, President Ban, Professor Imai, for taking your time out of your busy schedule. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we could do it maybe again in the future.
Sure.
Okay. See you
Thank
then.
you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.